The Naturalist role was really the last role that Rockstar added to Red Dead Online. It's been out for a few years now, and even though it's probably one of the more hated roles, it's actually a pretty good one. So today's going to be a full guide breaking that down, as well as tips and tricks on this and how to get started with the role in Red Dead Online. So if you guys do enjoy this, subscribe, put on post notifications, don't forget to drop a like, and let's get into it. So to get started with it, you have to visit Strawberry, where you're going to meet Harriet as well as Gus. Quick little introduction. When it comes to these two characters, they're pretty different. Harriet is someone that actually cares about animals, and even though it's the 1800s, almost the 1900s, people obviously still hunt for animals just like we do today. And she kind of feels like that's kind of wrong, and you shouldn't kill animals, you should care for them, and no matter what kind of animal they are. Compared to Gus, where really doesn't care at all, savagely killing animals, as well as just kind of living how most people live during that time, where if you see an animal that you want to eat, you just kill it and you move on. So that's just kind of how these characters are, but they do play a big role when it comes to the Naturalist role, and it really depends. You kind of have two options when it comes to this role, if you want to end up saving animals or just killing them. So if you don't have enough gold to purchase the Naturalist role at the time, which is a total of 25 gold bars, you have to head over to one of the locations that Harriet is going to be at. Harriet is not really like Madame Nazar. She actually is in multiple different set locations at the same time, so it's just pretty much maybe like one throughout each state, and the same thing kind of goes for Gus, but we're going to focus on Harriet for now. So basically, once you're able to purchase the Naturalist role, the main things that you want to get for sure is a varmint rifle, and then also sedative ammo. You can purchase this ammo at Harriet right there. And as for the varmint rifle, you can purchase that at any gun store. So obviously with the varmint rifle and this ammo, you're going to be sedating animals, which means that you're able to kind of put them to sleep for a little bit, and then after that you're able to get a sample from them, and from there you get XP from that. And also if you sell these samples to Harriet, you get paid. And just like the collector role, if you end up selling them in a set together, you'll be able to get paid more and more XP as well. So every animal has its like set location. So you have like land animals as well as like desert animals, water animals. So it's like once you just collect all in the set, you could just look at these, you know, by going to the Naturalist book, which is in your inventory, and you'll be able to see exactly which animals you want to. You get a full set of them and you'll be able to get paid. Now the amount of money that you get paid really just depends on what animals that you're going for. So for more easier animals, such as like farm animals, which could be found, you know, throughout the map, you're going to get paid like around maybe like $50 to $60. But eventually once you get into some other stuff, you know, harder animals, like it could be in the desert or like wetlands, mountain animals, which obviously could take more time to find as well as come across, and also spawning, you get paid more for that. And then we also have the separate section, which pays a lot more compared to the rest, which is going to be legendary animals, which is the one I would focus on the most. So to unlock legendary animals, you have to reach level 5 in the Naturalist role, which I think honestly is pretty simple. If you just do some of these sales as well as sampling, you're able to pretty much get a lot of XP pretty quickly. So unlocking legendary animals will give you the ability to find these specific animals that will be paying a lot more. You're able to get like hundreds of dollars more, maybe like in the 400s to like 600s when it comes to these animals. And the only way to really get the access to these specific animals would be to do the legendary animal missions, as well as also coming across them in a free mode. So honestly, when it comes to free mode, it's not going to spawn in that often, maybe like, you know, a few times a week, depending on how much you play. But if the animal does, you know, spawn in, you could just take the sample from that animal by sedating it. And then the same thing goes for when it comes to the legendary animal missions. In this case, you're able to see exactly what animal you're going to get, and you'll be able to do the same thing. However, these animals do reset on a timer, so just know that the same animals will not always be available. There's going to be a timer pretty much under how long you have in order to do these certain sets of animals, and you'll be able to see which ones you want to go for, and then you can complete the sets, and then of course you'll get paid for it. So when it comes to sedating animals in Red Dead Online, it's pretty simple. Most animals will take maybe around like 10 shots with the varmint rifle and sedative bullets in order to put it to sleep, and you're going to hear a specific sound when you do, and also you're going to see the 3 Z's on the map on that specific animal, indicating that it's obviously asleep at this point. Now some animals, such as like really small ones, if you do end up shooting them with the varmint rifle, you're able to actually just kill them within 1 shot. So I'd recommend just, you know, not killing small animals with it. But if it comes to like regular animals like bucks, goats, pigs, and all that, you're able to just shoot them, and once you end up sedating it, you don't have to keep shooting it after that. And then of course, obviously for bigger animals, if you're going like after a bear or like after a cougar, it's going to take a lot more bullets. And obviously you also have to watch out, because in some cases the animal will try to attack you, so trying to shoot them while they're attacking you obviously puts you in danger. So just, you know, be careful with it. A tip for that would honestly try to find like a location where you're able to be higher than the animal, but the animal can't jump on top of you. For example, like it could be like on top of a fence or on top of a barrel, and you're able to just keep shooting at them until you eventually sedate them and take the sample from them. Now, after you do put animals to sleep, you are able to revive them by using Animal Reviver. This is something I only recommend doing when you first start out the Naturalist role, because you do end up getting some XP every time you revive an animal. However, it does eat into profits because you do have to purchase the actual reviver from Harriet in order to even get this. It's not that expensive, but it is something that you have to realize. However, once you do end up getting a high enough level in the Naturalist role, then I probably recommend not wasting your money and just not reviving the animal after you sedate them. So besides the legendary animal missions, Harriet also has poached animals, which are animals that are being held by poachers, and you just have to pretty much free them. It's a really simple concept, and it's a great way to just get XP, especially when you're trying to level up the Naturalist role. I feel like when it comes to this role, the main thing is to get to level 5, and then the rest really isn't that important. In my playthrough, honestly, I was level 5 at the Naturalist role for probably a few months, and then I just realized maybe I want to level up the rest, since I already had all the other roles, I maxed out level 20. So that's my reasoning, but really the main thing is to get to level 5 to get the legendary animals, and then the rest, it just depends on what you're interested in when it comes to the role pass. Now, specifically in that pass, there are a lot of great things for sure. I'm not hating on it. You do have animal attraction, which gives you the increased chances of finding legendary animals, which is great, obviously, because the free mode spawning these legendary animals aren't really that easy, so finding them is going to be a lot more better. As well as the other one, which was Master Tracker, which means that you could track animals for a long period of time, because when it comes to finding these specific animals that you want for your field guidebook, you're going to want to be able to find them without having to have a lot of issues. It's going to just help out a lot for sure. And then also the fact that the Gypsy Cob, which is, I'm not going to say the best horse in Red Dead Online, but it's definitely one of the better ones for sure, is in the game. So that's something out that some people might be interested in. But again, the main thing for sure is to get to level 5 when it comes to the role itself. But the best thing besides that in the role for sure is the Wilderness Camp. So this is in rank 6 of the Naturalist role. So just, a little bit after. This is what gives you the ability to be able to have a temporary camp where you can actually craft stuff, as well as fast travel, which is going to be extremely helpful because there's a lot of times in Red Dead where you can be in the middle of a forest or the middle of the desert, and it's going to take a little too long when it comes to getting some of the fast travel posts. So having this is going to be great because you could just really set up camp anywhere and just fast travel to your camp or other places. Something that's going to be extremely useful when it comes to this, as well as also even helping out in a lot of other roles such as collector or even trader. So that's just something I do recommend going after you end up getting to level 5. Now, like I was saying, Gus is also part of the Naturalist role. He's pretty much the same thing as Harriet when it comes to these spawn locations. He has a set, one pretty much almost in every single state. So if you want to go to them, just look for the logo on the map. Now, Gus honestly offers a lot of things. Now, obviously, where Harriet decides to actually sedate animals and get samples for them that you could sell, Gus actually wants you to skin the animal, and the pelt that you get from the animal you can make into specific clothing that you can actually purchase from him. So for example, if you wanted to get the Moonstone coat, you would just have to provide a legendary Moonstone wolf pelt and be able to purchase that from him, and you'll be able to have that clothing accessory. Now, Gus also does offer trinkets, which actually can be very useful when it comes to certain things in the world of Red Dead Online. So for example, specific trinkets could have faster bonding rate for horses, as well as also maybe higher chances of receiving better pelts in perfect condition, and also making it so that your weapons don't degrade that fast, which I think is honestly probably one of the better ones for sure. So honestly, if you want to unlock any of these trinkets, you really just have to go up to him. It'll specifically say what you have to bring. So for example, for the beaver tooth trinket, you have to bring 2 beaver teeth, which is pretty easy. Find a beaver, skin it, all that, and then also a pair of earrings, and you're able to purchase that trinket from him. So I think it's honestly probably one of the better things for sure to have in Red Dead Online. If you have the time, definitely go for trinkets. It could definitely help out just throughout your playthrough in the world. And then going back to Harriet, she does offer a few more things, kind of where more Gus is focused on the world stuff, Harriet is focused more on personal stuff, such as she has the weight loss and weight gain tonics, which can obviously help with your character if you want to do either or. She also has the legendary animal pheromones, which can be helpful to kind of get the legendary animals to spawn in more. Honestly, personally, I haven't really used these, which I don't really think really need to, but if it's there, you can try it out for sure. The animal reviver, like I talked about earlier, is something great as well that could be useful when it comes to getting some XP, only in the beginning though, for sure. I think for sure when it comes to a lot of players, if you are getting into Naturalist role, this should probably be one of the more later roles that you purchase. I would focus more on getting the bounty hunter role first, or trader or collector, and again this a little bit more last. This role is extremely useful for the trader, since you're able to use the legendary pelts that you get from this and supply it to the trader. Instead of sedating animals in these missions or even in free mode, just kill them instead, and you can take these carcasses over to your camp. So that's something I would honestly recommend doing, and I think that's what a lot of people use it for, including myself. itself. It definitely is a nice concept, you know, being able to sedate animals as well as getting paid for it, but it's just not something that I think a lot of people go for because it doesn't pay that much. So I'll probably stay away from that. I'll probably use this role as more of just a kind of way to get more into Red Dead Online and also to help out with the trader. And if you want to level up this role a lot faster, the best way to do it for sure, besides using the animal reviver as well as doing more missions, would also be to just sedate a bunch of animals that you see throughout the world. So I would probably focus on like going to forest, as well as also probably the best place that I've gone for sure is like near the swamp in Lemoyne. That one has a lot of alligators, and as long as you're just sedating them and not killing them, you're building XP every single time that you take a sample from them. You don't even have to revive them if you don't want to, and it's just like, it's a great way. That's what I did for sure, and it levels up you really quickly, as well as again participating in any like Naturalist realm events, if there's any double money that's going on for sure, as well as any sample sales that you do too. You don't even have to sell in the full set if you don't want to. You could just sell any samples that you want and get XP for that too. So that's just something for sure when it comes to this role. Again, this isn't the best role. This is probably one of the more hated roles for sure, but I definitely want to have a guide on this if you want to get into it. I think it's a really cool concept, and I do like the Naturalist role, but I just feel like it has its necessities that could be a bit more useful when it comes to some of the other parts of Red Dead Online for sure. So if you guys enjoyed though or found this helpful, you already know what to do. Subscribe and put up post notifications. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see y'all guys in the next one. Peace.